In the 2020 budget, government was hopeful of raising about 1.2 billion cedis from exports of petroleum products. But with the outbreak of COVID-19, the finance minister will be compelled to review the prices downward. Speaking to City Business News, the executive director of IES, Nana Amoesi VII, said the finance minister must be realistic in making projections, not to throw the budget out of gear.
No one saw this coming, and I'm talking about the COVID. And this has really suppressed demand for crude oil and fuels around the globe. If there is less demand for a commodity, the price will likely fall. And that's what we see today, that oil is hovering around $40 per barrel mark. We went as low as $25, $20 per barrel at a point because we were on lockdown. Thanks to the easing of restriction and the agreement by OPEC members to cut back on production, we are just around the $40 per barrel mark. Government benchmark close to $60 per barrel, hoping to rake in as close to $1.2 billion, not just from participating and carried interest, but for service, rentals, and other taxes as well. Now, seeing oil being sold below or around $40 mark, as again the $60 we projected, tells us that we are losing close to 35% of what we projected.
The IES boss said there is likely to be a second wave of the spread of COVID-19 as borders begin to reopen across the globe. He maintains that it may take 2 years of oil prices to return to pre-COVID times, hence the need for government not to anticipate significant returns from oil anytime soon.
Now we have seen the easing of lockdowns. We can only hope that what other medical experts tells us, that there is the likelihood of a second wave of COVID. If there is, then of course we'll go back to lockdown or the same protocol we were observing from the very beginning of COVID. That means that price will also fall again, and that will impact on government revenue in Ghana. Going forward and looking at what we need to project in July when the finance minister visits Parliament, I think we need to be careful what we project, because analysts, financial institutions, key ones, talk of the IEA, EIA, Barclays, and co. They can't even tell where the direction of oil will go because of all these other risks that can come in, the second wave of COVID, how the renewables are battering fossil fuels today and all that. And so there's a formula that is used to, project what the benchmark price should be. But it doesn't take into consideration issues like COVID. Now, COVID is staring us in the face. Cautiously, I don't think we should be looking beyond $35 per barrel mark, because if you speak to analysts, they will tell you that for us to get back to the pre-COVID levels of $65 per barrel mark, it could take us close to 2 years.